One of the things I love most about podcasting, other than coming to you guys every week, is being able to guest on other people's podcasts. And I had the privilege recently of coming into a live group that turned into a podcast for my friend Melissa Hughes. Melissa is amazing. She has something called the Firebrand Academy. And if you are an entrepreneur that is looking for elevating your brand and a little push forward with some gentle, loving accountability, a fantastic community, and a ton of expertise on how to really get your voice out into the world in a cohesive way, Firebrand Academy is what you're looking for. So I'll drop that link in the show notes for you. But Melissa was kind enough to give me the file from the episode that we did together a few weeks ago. And that's what I'm bringing you today. I think you'll really enjoy it. We have a really great conversation about funnels and why it's important that yours is optimized for your business as we're going into the year of 2025. Can you believe that? 2025. It feels like this year flew by. Anyway, I'm excited to bring you this episode. I hope you really enjoy the conversation between me and my friend Melissa. Let's jump in. Truth time. When's the last time you raised your hands for a swift kick in the pants? Well, I'm the no-nonsense type friend who's going to tell you when you have food in your teeth. So let's get right to it. This is your infusion of sacred and secular, calling you higher into who God created you to be, exploring how intimately faith applies to every part of your life, and how you can live that faith every single day in the marketplace. I felt the tension of separation of church and state. I've been one of the few women at a table of men for decades, and I've stood my ground. Are you ready to do the same? These tools, resources, and interviews are meant to do just that. I'm Jan Touchberry, and it's time to share her faith at work.
Hey everybody, welcome to the She Can Share podcast. We are here in the social media mentorship with a very special guest, Jan Touchberry. And we've had Jan on the show before, and she's so good. We had her come back to talk about auditing your funnels. Okay, some of you are like, what's a funnel? Well, a funnel is literally, think of it as hospitality. Okay, if somebody comes to your house, they need to know where the front door is. The front door is your social media, okay? It's your social media or your podcast. It's a marketing tool. But then if someone that you really want to come over is at your front door, right? And they need to get in, you need to go and open the door, and then you bring them in, go to the kitchen or take them to your living room, right? The problem is for a lot of us in our business, we might have the social media posts going out, but the front door is locked. What do I mean by that? We're not taking people anywhere. So we're putting in all this time, effort, and energy into our content, but there's no funnel, is what it is, to lead them into your email list. Or maybe they come on your email list or your web page, but they don't know where to go next. So you're losing people. And you're putting in all this time, effort, and energy into your business and getting no return because you don't know how to audit your funnel. And my people, that is why I have brought Jan Touchberry, who is an expert at this, on the podcast and in the social media mentorship so that we can have a conversation about auditing funnels. And she's amazing with website. She's an incredible designer. She did my website. Go check it out. It's Jan, not me. It's Jan. And she is a genius with text automation. And she's just an incredible human being. She's an 8 on the Enneagram, and if she was a part of the body of Christ, she would be the rib because she protects heart-centered leaders and helps them to pump that blood, that mission through the body, and she protects the heart. So Jan, welcome to the group and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I feel like you just really built me up. I'm going to have to really rise to the occasion here, Melissa.
You know when you just love a person and you're like, everyone needs to know this person? That's how I feel. So Yes, Jan, welcome to the show. And I am really excited about what you're going to be teaching all of us as far as like our funnels and our audits and all of that. So, yes.
Yes. Let's talk funnels.
Yeah.
Can we
So
talk broken funnels? Y'all just have to, if you don't know me, you know that I shoot straight.
she does.
I'm
So let's just dig into it. Jan, I kind of just explained a funnel, but can you even just like talk to us a little bit about different kinds of funnels? Because I even said to you, I was like, a website funnel. And you're like, there's different types of, website or going from your podcast or your social media. Can you help us
Sure.
understand?
Yeah. So basically, a funnel is a customer journey. So it starts at the top of a funnel. If you're not watching on video, I talk with my hands. So if I hit my microphone, I'm so sorry. The top of the funnel is how you bring awareness to people that you exist and tell them about your offering. Whatever you do, the top of the funnel is how they're finding out about you. And then basically, like water flows through a funnel, a person would flow through your funnel, going down deeper and deeper and deeper. So they go from awareness kind of to an interest phase. So that may be where they follow you on social media or subscribe to your podcast or decide that they're going to, click and get a freebie of yours. So they're interested in what you have to offer, but they're not quite committed yet,
Mm.
right? They're not quite committed yet. And then there's the consideration phase. So they're going a little bit deeper in the funnel. Maybe they're having some conversations with you. Maybe they have decided that they're interested in what your offer is, but they're not quite ready to put the money down.
Mhm.
And so they might sign up for a free discovery call, or they might shoot you a DM and ask some questions about what you do. And then there's intent, right? This is getting a little bit more serious. They're showing that they really are interested and they're ready. That there are strong signs that they're ready to make a purchase for whatever it is that you do. And then there's the actual conversion when they give you their credit card number.
Mhm.
Right. And then it's, funnel to me, is a little bit of a misnomer because a funnel has a beginning and an end, but in my opinion it loops, right? It's more of a looping feature because once they're at the bottom of your funnel, you need to protect that loyalty and that advocacy, and that starts a relationship. So it's not just it's not like, I'm trying to think of a good example. So Walmart, right? I know Walmart exists, and I might go to Walmart and I might buy a cup or a rug or some eggs. But Walmart is not going to follow up with me necessarily unless they're doing sneaky ad things online. But they're not going to follow up with me and ask me how my eggs were, or if I need any more eggs, or if I need anything to go with the cup that I just bought. So that was probably a really crappy example.
No, I'm,
Well,
I'm following with you,
okay,
Jan. I'm
good.
following.
But it's the loyalty, right? You're getting them on your email list. They're now in your business ecosystem so that you can continue the relationship building and you can follow up and find out what they might need next or how else you can serve them well with whatever it is that you do. Is that good?
I think that's good. I think that's very clear. And what you are very good at helping business owners or even just mission people, we have missionaries here, people that are looking for partnering with donors and fundraising. Is the problem that you are saying is somebody could have, their social media going out or their podcast, but then they don't have a link in their link tree or they
Mhm.
don't have like literally that next step. So they could have amazing content or an amazing website. But if all the pieces don't actually talk to each other and work together, then your funnel is broken and things are not going to convert. You're going to lose people, right?
Right. That's exactly right. And I think more people fall into that category than would like to admit it,
Mm-hmm.
especially with social media. I'll just call it out. Um, think about how many hours in a month, sometimes a week, you spend on creating social media content that has no way other than a link in bio that most people are not going to click to connect with people and to get them into your ecosystem, because social media is not your ecosystem.
Mm-mm.
No.
Yeah, it's funny too because even when you were going through all the steps um of somebody like awareness, like seeing a post and then maybe clicking on something and then coming into something, it's wild how that takes time. And I have clients in my social media agency that are like, "Well, I'm posting. Why am I not seeing sales?" And I'm like, "Listen, sweetheart, first of all, you need to just like stay consistent, and the sales happens from a business. And are you bringing people into your business?" And I think there's a big disconnect in people's heads. For whatever
Yeah.
reason, people think, and probably from social media, that people are just making millions of dollars from social media. It's like, well, how is that happening? It's because people have a very good optimized funnel, right,
Mm-hmm.
Jan?
Yeah. So I will say, and Melissa, you're the social media expert, so you correct me if I'm off base on this, but I would go out on a limb to say that the social media landscape for selling has changed
Mm-hmm.
dramatically from what
Mm-hmm.
it was, I would say even 5 years ago, but for
Mm-hmm.
sure, like when I started in the social media space in the using it for actual business purposes was back in 2013. So 11 years ago. And girl, you could put you know, I love this product, go buy it, and you could make $300. Well,
Mm-hmm.
you can't do that now. It does
Yeah.
not work the same. And so you really do have to make sure that you have in mind the journey that you want to take the customer on, or
Yeah.
the prospect, because they're not even customers yet most of the time.
Yeah.
What journey do you want to take them on from the time that they see whatever it is that you're putting out there into the world
Mm-hmm.
to the time that they get into your ecosystem and then start into that loop, right?
Yep. And sometimes that could be, a couple months. It could be a year. And what I think
Hmm.
is interesting too about social media is people, and we talk about this, but people can be seeing your posts, not commenting or anything,
Right.
and want to move forward. But then there are people that it's like they need to see the post. It's like dating. It's like then they're ready to get your
Hmm.
freebie, and then they're ready to come into your email list. But the biggest thing is definitely the consistency, which a lot of people struggle with. But here's the other question. And Jan and I had this conversation because I was like, is my lead magnet, which let me just say what a lead magnet is for people that don't know, because I remember there was a time when I didn't. But a lead magnet is exactly what it is. It's something that your ideal audience would really love to have. It's a magnet, it attracts them, and you give it to them for free. So it could be like a video editing checklist, or if you're in, right, the wedding industry, it could be, hey, this is a checklist for having the best wedding in 2025. So it's something that would attract your ideal audience to bring them into your email list, which then you can send emails. But here's my question, Jan. How can somebody know if their lead magnet is good or not, right? Like, how can they
Mm.
test that data? I feel like I look at my stats sometimes on my back end. I'm like, I don't know. Hopefully, maybe it's good. So, do you have any do you know what I'm saying? I don't think a lot of
Yeah.
us know that. So tell us.
Yeah. So you have to know your numbers. And for any visionary business owner, that is probably going to be something that's really hard for you.
Yeah.
It's kind of like bookkeeping, right? But it's something that we have to do if we are serious about having a business. You have to know your numbers. And so I just suggest that you create a very simple chart,
Mm,
and whatever it is. Let's take the lead magnet we'll stick with that example. So if you go, I use Flowdesk, Melissa uses Kajabi. There's all different kinds of lead magnet landing pages that are going to give you analytics on the back end. So I would say once a month at least,
oh,
you need to go in and you need to look at how many people have joined your list from each particular lead magnet. I have a ton of them. Some of them convert really well. Some of them have zero conversions.
Mm. And when
That
you
is
say
something that my
conversion,
clients do not want. That is
yes,
not a good lead magnet.
right. And conversion means they've given you their email and they've
Yes,
opted in. Yeah,
they've opted into my list. Yeah.
right.
So I would say just knowing which ones are working and which ones aren't, and then making sure that the ones that are working, that people are actually giving you their email address. And hopefully, if you are progressive and are doing text marketing as well, they're giving you their phone number at the same time. Shameless plug for text marketing. So if you need to make sure that you are knowing the numbers, and then the lead magnets that are working for you, that you're actually putting those out there.
Yeah,
I I would say that there are very few business people in the social media space that I see that are pretty consistently promoting a lead magnet.
yeah,
And if you're doing it, you're probably not doing it enough. Because what are the stats, Melissa? Like 3% of people see a post that you do.
right.
3% of your followers are going to see a post. And so if you think about that's such a small number of people,
Hmm.
you can think that you're beating a dead horse, so to speak,
Yeah,
because you're promoting this thing all the time. But people are not tired of it because they're not seeing it all the time.
yeah. It's so true. I think a big fear that a lot of us have is like, I don't want to, look spammy or
Yeah.
oversell. So even for me, I went back and looked at my posts. I think it was even in this group. I was like, guys, every post should have a call to action. That's the whole point of why we're on social media. We're using it as a tool to impact people and also grow our business. And I'm like going through my posts. I'm like, oh, that doesn't that doesn't have a call to action for a so
Yeah.
I messaged my girl Ella who does my content and I was like, hey, we just need to make sure, and this is on me because I write my own captions, hold me accountable to make sure that I'm regularly promoting my lead magnet because people want, and you should create content with this thought in mind, people want to come into your ecosystem and work with you. They like seeing your stuff. So, of course, they want your lead magnet, right? We're just not talking about it enough.
Right.
This is a good question Melinda just put in the chat. And I was going to also ask, how many lead magnets should you have out at the same time?
That is the good question.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am. So I will say that um, there are different schools of thought here. Like I said, I have a lot of lead magnets. And if you go to my website, you'll see a lot of them on my website on the resource page. I don't promote all of those all the time. Now, they're always on my website for people to get, but you have to intentionally go to my resource page to find all of them.
Mhm.
And so it really is going to depend on what you're trying to do. So if you're in a season of launching, then I would say you have one specific lead magnet that is attached to your launch and you promote the heck out of that thing.
Mhm.
So if you have a podcast and you have a particular lead magnet that you know has worked in the past, but you haven't really promoted in a long time, but it goes with your podcast episode, reboot that thing,
Mhm.
promote that one. So you can have many of them. And again, because people are not really seeing all of your content, it's not going to seem like you have too many, but you don't have to feel like you have to have a ton. If you have one that works, that's enough for right now.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. And one of the things I was going to ask you about too is ManyChat, which I feel like has
Yeah.
completely changed the game. That's for those of you listening, Many, MANY chat, all one word. And it's where people are saying, like, comment, listen, and I'll send you the link. And it's an automation that then ManyChat will send them the link in their DM.
Mhm.
So here's my question though, here, Jan, with ManyChat, I'm even noticing that is evolving and changing. And one of the things you and I talked about was people are asking for people's email in the ManyChat automation so that they don't even have to get taken off of ManyChat to go to a website. You can actually set up an automation where you ask for their email in ManyChat and then deliver the lead magnet there. Can you
Yeah.
just kind of like talk about what you're seeing and how people are using ManyChat right now?
So, like you said, ManyChat has evolved and is evolving very quickly. I think any technology is always going to fall into that category. It evolves way faster than most humans can keep up. And so I would say that exactly what you're describing, ManyChat has it used to be just a way to automate responses, but now you actually can carry on a full funnel inside ManyChat.
Mm-hmm.
Just exactly what you just described. So it's not just, hey, I'll send you a link and then you can go off of Instagram and go find whatever it is. You can keep them inside that Instagram platform.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, I will say that there are automations then that have to happen in order for you to get them into the rest of your ecosystem because ManyChat is not your email provider.
Right.
It does not function the same way MailChimp or Flowdesk or something like that is going to function. So typically people will use something. Now, some of those platforms integrate right with ManyChat, so you don't have to have the go-between. So if somebody gives you their email inside ManyChat and you use a provider that has an immediate integration with ManyChat, it'll take that email and plop it right into your email list.
Yep.
If you don't use an email provider that does that, you can use Zapier and create that integration so that an email drops into ManyChat and then Zapier takes it and it's called a Zap creative. And then Zapier takes it and puts it inside your email provider so that they're now on your list so that when you're working inside Flowdesk or Kajabi or whatever, all of those people have gone over there and they're inside and they're getting all of your emails.
Yeah. Yeah. For some of you listening might be like, this is way too techy for me. You know? And the thing is, like you said, Jan, is for a lot of us visionary, heart centered leaders, we're like, I just want to make an impact. I just want to serve God. I want to grow my business. But these are all the things that you need to do that. And I think we don't, especially us as dreamers, don't want to come down to reality and actually check on these things. But it's like going to a doctor for a
Mhm.
checkup. Are the things working? And Jan, I'm going to call you Dr. Jan because
Oh no,
she,
no, no.
no, okay. No, she doesn't like it. Never mind. Never mind. But you are good at diagnosing where like the problem is or where it's not converting, or even just like you said, you actually have a good lead magnet. You just aren't talking about it enough. So you're not getting enough leads into your business. And that's why your business isn't growing.
Mhm. I will say, Melissa, can we use one of your lead magnets as an
Yeah.
example?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay. So I don't remember which one it was, but you came to me and you said, Jan,
Yeah.
my list is not growing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's happening. What am I doing wrong? And so I got into the back end of your system, your ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was able to see as I looked at the numbers is it's not that your email list wasn't growing, it's that people were unsubscribing as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so you had as almost as many people unsubscribing as you did subscribing.
Yep.
And for most of us, that's like, ooh, that's really bad. But we need to stop saying that because if somebody is unsubscribing from your list, they are not your people.
That's right.
And it's okay. It's okay. You want a list that you are serving who is absolutely 100% bought into who you are and what you do,
Mm-hmm.
not people who are just getting your emails for the sake of getting your emails. So, what we need to then figure out is how to increase the number of people that are coming into the funnel
Yep.
to offset the ones that are leaving because I mean, it's a natural course of business that people are going to come in, they're going to get what they need, and then they're going to leave. And that's totally fine. Not everybody
Yeah.
is going to be your raving fans.
Well, and this is a good conversation too because I grew an audience on TikTok and the content was all about motherhood. And I put
Mhm.
out this lead magnet, which was teaching your kids how to pray. And they were like prayers that I had created that were genuinely really great, really helpful. And that video went viral. I had a bunch of people opt in, but my business is not about teaching your kids how to pray, although I'm super passionate about it. My business is about social media. So, like, again, going back to the conversation of like making sure that what you're promoting actually brings it into like an offer that you have. So, you have to like reverse engineer and think, does this lead magnet, is this just like something that I think is really fun and helpful, or is it actually attracting the people? And so thinking about that vision conversation, if you're literally there just to give it to people, like you think this is going to be a great resource, then just give it to them. If it doesn't feed into your business, but if it's something that is tied to an offer, think about, if somebody wants this offer, what would be a freebie that I could create that would bring them in? So
Hmm.
that was definitely helpful for me to realize that's some of my list currently.
Yeah. I know that like I'm seeing in the chat here that for people that are not techie, this can be overwhelming. Like it can be a lot. I like to say that I'm the girl that does all the things that most business owners doesn't like to do. It
Yeah.
it's just how God made me, and I think that it's a beautiful partnership, right? That I can come alongside people who are more visionary and more dreamer than I am because I'm pretty concrete
Yeah.
and help you with those things. But if I could say anything to the people who feel like they fall into that category that they don't really understand, they don't like it, it does not fuel their fire, don't stay in that space for a very long period of time. Start small.
Mhm.
Look at your calendar and once a month, spend 15 minutes. Can you look at numbers for 15 minutes and see what's working and what might need a little bit of a boost? And then find somebody that you can ask questions of to
Like
see
Jan.
how they can help you.
Yeah. I always say, I remember I was at an event and I had talked to Jan right before the event, and she was like, "Do you have this? Do you have this?" And I was like, "I don't." She's like, "Oh, I'll just go in your back end and I'll just do it for you real quick," which would have taken me hours, by the way. And I said to Jan, I was like, in those like action movies where there's like the guy that's like on the field and he's like taking down the bad guys, and then there's the guy in the back that's on the computer that's like actually doing all of the hard work
Yeah.
and
I'm the one
making,
in the van.
yeah. Yeah, Jan's like Dexter, that guy in the van that's like actually like making it all happen behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is really important, but I think that it's a good conversation. If you should never spend time in your business doing the things that drain your energy, because it will take you 10 times longer. You won't know what you're doing and you won't be able to interpret the data properly. It's always better just to find someone that knows and to hire them. It's a worth investment.
I'm going to address that for just 1 second because there are some people who just heard what you said and went, I can't afford that.
Mm,
I know that that's the case. And
yeah.
so what I want to say to you is it doesn't have to be hundreds of dollars a month. And it doesn't, I mean, don't think huge, start small. And one of the things that I was on another podcast recently, and the best way that I can break this down for somebody who's just starting out and thinking they need to have some help, but they're not really sure how to do that is you hopefully have a budget for your home finances, have a budget for your business finances. And let's say you have an offer that's $97. So 10% of that, $10 or $9.70, if we're being precise, um, take that and put it into your hire someone budget.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so if you know that, for instance, to hire someone to help you optimize a lead magnet is going to cost you $200. You know that you have to sell 20 of whatever it is for you to hire somebody to help you optimize that thing. So that's now your goal. How
Yep.
can I sell 20 of my offer so that I can hire somebody to help me do this optimization, which is going to allow me to sell more?
Right.
Right? So if you can just break it down into small chunks and know that it doesn't even have to be a monthly thing until you're ready, but you really do need to set aside some money every time you sell whatever it is that you're selling
Yeah.
so that you can put it into those back end things that you really don't like doing, that you can't do. And I mean, anytime we don't like doing things, we're just gonna put them on the back burner or shove them down the to-do
Yeah.
list. And they get carried over and carried over and carried over, and then they just get ignored and
Yep.
forgot about. So budget for the, I mean, call it your I hate to do it budget, right?
Yeah, that's a good
You
name.
just
I like
put some
that.
money in your I hate to do it budget every single time you sell something. And
Mhm.
just know that as that accumulates, then you can afford to have somebody help you.
Yeah. And part of the reason too why I thought that this is a good conversation is because most of us right now should be in a season where we're analyzing what we've done this year and reflecting on what has worked and what hasn't. And
Mhm.
so it is a really good time right now to go and do look at those numbers, as painful sometimes as that is. Some of us are scared to look at the numbers. I had a conversation with a girlfriend yesterday, and she was like, "Oh, me and my husband, we looked at our numbers this year compared to last year," and she's like, "And it wasn't good." And I was like, "That's actually good feedback to like look at that." And I said, "Do you know like the activities that you need to do to change that?" She was like, "Yeah." And it was good. Like that was because otherwise she wouldn't have known. So these things are really important, but if you have an online business, having somebody audit your funnels really is like going to the doctor and
Mhm.
helps you to optimize what you need. Um,
I will say, yes, it's like going to the doctor, but I'm gonna make it even a little bit more tangible than that.
yeah, okay.
So I have an Aura ring. Aura ring is not, they are not a sponsor of mine. I just love them. Okay.
What is it?
An Aura ring. So it gives you all of the data from your sleep and your health and your activity and all
Oh,
of these things. I love it. Um, and
good.
for me, especially as a woman of a certain age, it's really important to see how your body is functioning, right? And so I wear it all the time. And every morning I've gotten in the habit of getting up and I have a little app on my phone and I update the app and then it tells me how I slept, how my body was reacting to stress, how I mean it's got like 17 different things that it shows me, right? But what it does is it allows me to see very small, subtle declines or trends. And so a lot of us only go to the doctor once a year, right? But if, and so looking at your numbers once a year is probably not the best idea for your business. But if you can treat it more like something that's systematic and you're looking at numbers once a month or once a week, you don't have to look at them once a day. But if you can look at them more often and see these subtle trends, it's a really great way to catch things before they go down in a spiral of flames, right?
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
that sounds dramatic, but it's easier to change something that is just slightly off than it is to change something that is totally tanked.
Yeah, it's true. That's good, Jan. And one of the things I also want to just mention is sometimes people can get frustrated with like my content's not doing well or it's not growing my business when the truth is you don't need viral views for you to have a really good online business. You just need the right people
Mhm.
and targeted messaging and that funnel that's not broken. Because
Yeah.
imagine if you had just 20 people that loved what you did, that wanted to come into your business, how much would that change your business? But I think, and in working with people, and I know I'm actually one of them for you, Jan, is like that there were things that weren't, it wasn't, the funnel was broken or was off or whatever. Um, so, and I don't think people realize that social media is just the front pretty door to
Mhm.
a business that you need to make sure has like step one, then step two, then step three. And I know you're really good at diagnosing that. So, any other thoughts on that, Jan, or things that people need to know about optimizing your profile, your funnel, leading to a website or a lead magnet?
Yeah, one of the other questions that popped up in the chat's really good, that I want to address. it was talking about segmenting lists so that you can better optimize within your ecosystem. And yes, the short answer is yes, you absolutely can and should be doing that. If you're like me, you are a multifaceted entrepreneur. You have lots of things that you do. Melissa's the same in her business. She has lots of different things that she does, how she serves people. And so if I am, you can have a lead magnet that is overarching, but you can also have lead magnets or content. A lead magnet is just another form of content, right? So you can have content that speaks specifically to each thing that you do or each part of your business. And then you can bring people in and segment them accordingly so that, let's say for me, it's very different if I'm managing a podcast for somebody versus I am doing a website for somebody. And those people, although people who podcast may need a website, people who have a website don't necessarily need to know about my podcasting opportunities.
Mhm.
And so I can split those two and I can send them messages that would apply to both of them, but I can also split them and have very, very targeted information that goes to each specific segment. And that's a great way to grow your business.
Yeah. Also somebody that like I'm listening to that right now. I'm like, I would need you, Jan. So, okay, well, with that said, I do. One of the things that I thought would be amazing by having Jan come in here is I know that this is an offer that she actually has right now for people. And the beautiful thing, out of the kindness of her heart, she's offering it to my audience, to you guys at a promotional rate. That's what I want to say. So it's the New Year funnel audit and it is 297, but for us it's 197. And again, everything that we talked about would go into the value of making sure that what you're doing is actually working or it's not. Because if it's not, then you should change it. There's no point in trying to talk about a lead magnet that isn't converting and you need a new one, right? So, like, diagnosing what's going on in your business is just, to me, like, again, I don't really like going to the, Valvoline and getting my car checked or going to the doctor. Don't like any of those things. But I do it because I know that I'll get valuable information back. And Jan is one of the best people that I know. And she also understands how to make things look pretty. So that's
Mhm.
cool that she's like, oh my gosh, this could look so much better if you just did it like this. So I just, what?
I like to say I make your business pretty and profitable.
Yeah.
My new tagline.
Yeah, the other day I think I think I created something and I was like, "Jan, what do you think of this?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm just going to change that and I'm going to change that." So, yes. Oh, and Michelle's putting in the notes. I can attest it's so worth it and she's helping me make adjustments right now. So, she's a doctor, chiropractor, however you want to say it, mechanic for your business, but she's Dexter so that you can take down the enemy with the mission that God's, put in your heart and she'll go in the back end and make it all optimized and pretty. So,
Yeah. Let me just say one more thing about this offer. So if you're thinking, okay, that's not for me because I don't even have a funnel, it's okay. It's
mhm,
okay. Because you do have a funnel. If you are out in the world with a business or a ministry, you have a funnel. It just isn't maybe complete. And so we can look at the top of your funnel. How are people coming in? And we can come up with a plan
mhm.
for what the rest of your funnel needs to look like. So it's not necessarily diagnosing what's broken only, it's how you can optimize your funnel.
I love that.
Yeah.
Way to go, Jan. Way to
Thanks.
be that person for all of us heart centered leaders and doing all the things that we don't like to do because you have greatly blessed me. So it's the New Year funnel audit. I'll put the link in the show notes too for any of you listening that want to take advantage of that. Jan, how long does that go till? Till the new year?
January, end of January.
End of January. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so definitely, do it now. Do it now, do it now. And if anything, please go and find Jan on social media. I'll put the link there and just go say hi to her because she loves the Lord. She loves Jesus. She actually is an online pastor at her church and has an amazing story. So, if anything, make a new friend, right? But
Love
also,
friends.
yeah, she loves friends, but also get the funnel, get the audit, and do it now. So, Jan, thank you for being a guest on the show. Appreciate
Thank you
you.
for having me. Well, what'd you think? I really enjoy that conversation. I enjoy every conversation with Melissa, but I really enjoy teaching other people how to optimize pieces of their business. And like we talked about, I do have the New Year funnel audit special going on right now for all of my listeners. And so if you want to take advantage of that in your own business, you can check the link in the show notes or go to jantouchberry.com/funnel and start the process. Um, I will say that if there's one thing that you could spend money on looking to go into the new year, it would be making sure that the funnel that you have taken so much time to prepare is working for you as we start the new year. So, you guys have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Her Faith at Work. If the Lord put someone on your heart that you think needs to hear this message today, will you just smash that share button? And if you haven't already followed the show, I would love for you to do that. Super extra points if you hop over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. That helps the algorithm pick us up and drop us right in the AirPods of people that need to hear what the Lord is saying to them today. I hope you'll come back for the next episode of Her Faith at Work. The podcast comes out every Wednesday. And if you look down in the show notes, I've even got a couple of free downloads for you that I think you will really enjoy. With that, have a great week. See you next time.